Hello students, good morning and welcome to our today's history session. Today we will continue with our civics lesson number 3, features of the constitution. In our last week we completed with video 1 where we studied about what do you mean by federalism. We also studied about the separation or the division of powers in India, in which we studied that how the Indian constitution or the Indian administration has been divided into two parts, that is the union government and the state government. Then we also studied that how our constitution has given us three lists of various subjects, that is the union list, second one is the state list, third one is the concurrent list, and fourth, that is known as the residual powers, where the laws or the list or the subjects which do not come in any of the three lists are included in the residuary powers. Then we studied that how each list or each subject has work. What are the work which have been given to each government? Like this, subjects with the union government, they have defense, foreign relation, war, all about this. Subject with the state government are law, agriculture and all, and subject with both the government is regarding employment, education, health and all. So this is what we studied, and we also saw about the union territories, right? Now, what was it? So India is a combination of, we can call, 29 states and 7 union territories. So right in front of you I have given all the 29 states. So each state over here, every state has one person who is called as the authority, or you can call him as the person who is responsible to look after the administration of that state, and that person is called as the chief minister of that particular state. Right now we are living in the state of Maharashtra. So our Maharashtra government is being now looked upon by the new chief minister, and our present chief minister of Maharashtra is Shri Uddhav Thackeray, who is responsible for taking care of the law and order and also for all the administration, running the administration smoothly, taking care of each and every citizen of Maharashtra. Similarly, the union territories, there are 7 union territories of India, right? These 7 union territories, as you can see on the screen, right? Chandigarh, New Delhi, then Daman and Diu, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, the Lakshadweep Island, Pondicherry and the Andaman and Nicobar Island. Even these 7 union territories. Now why it is given union territories? Because these are the regions which do not have a own minister or do not have their own state, but they are being looked upon, their administration is being looked upon by the union government, or what we call as the central government from New Delhi, and so they are known as the union territories. You have to remember the names of the 7 union territories. Okay, so with this, let us move ahead with our topic. Now to understand this topic more in detail, you need to know something. Now right in front of you, you have a picture. The same picture is there in your textbook, page number 73. Do you know? Now what is this picture, or what are these symbols which are given to you trying to tell us? The first symbol or the first picture is the currency note. The currency notes, what has been stated on it? Bharatiya Reserve Bank, or the Reserve Bank of India. And if you look down, it has been printed, guaranteed by the central government. That means the currency notes are being printed by the central government, that is the union government in Delhi, right? And from there, this Reserve Bank, the Reserve Bank of India is in Bombay also, right? You will say, teacher, it is in Bombay. Yes, but the main administration of this is being taken by the union government. The next important thing, if you look down, you have the symbol of Maharashtra Police. Second one is Indian Railways, and third one is Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation. Now what are these 3 symbols trying to tell us? Maharashtra Police. Maharashtra Police will only look after the law and order and to maintain the law and order in the Maharashtra state. Maharashtra Police cannot go to Kashmir and start talking or start putting their law and order over there. They cannot tell the people over there, ye guna hai, this and that. No. Because it is the police, or it is the internal affairs of the state of Maharashtra, That is the reason the name Maharashtra Police is given. Second, Indian Railway. Indian, the name itself tell you Indian Railway means it is of the whole nation, India. And so, Indian Railway is being looked after by the union government, or what we call as the state government, because it is not belonging to any particular state. It is not only of Maharashtra state, or it is not only of Karnataka state, or not only of Gujarat state, but it is of the whole Indian nation. And so the name is Indian Railway. Bharatiya Dak Khana, that is Bharatiya Post Office, the whole India. The third symbol is Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation, Maharashtra Rajya Parivahan, ST. ST buses are there only in Maharashtra. You will not find these ST red buses in Kashmir. You will not find these ST red buses in Andhra Pradesh. You will not find ST buses in Andaman and Nicobar Island. No, because they are being looked after by the Maharashtra government. So the name is Maharashtra Rajya Parivahan. Why is this given? To make you understand that the subjects which are given by the Indian Constitution to the union government, to the state government, and both the governments together, these are the things, or these are those important topics which are being looked after or being administrated by that particular government. It is the union as well as the state government. I hope you all have understood this and you all are clear with the point why we have those 29 states different and why we have the 7 union territories different, so that the administration becomes very smooth. So let us understand now more in detail that how this administration has been carried out. And for the smooth functioning of administration, our country follows the parliamentary system of government. Now the picture right in front of you is the Parliament House of India. The way we have the White House in America, we have the Parliament House or the Rashtrapati Bhavan of India in New Delhi. Now the parliamentary system of government, how does it work? So here is a table given to you, that is how the government of India works. It works on the 3 important pillars. These 3 important pillars are the legislative, the executive and the judiciary. Now under the legislative, you have the Rajya Sabha with 256 and the Lok Sabha with 545 seats. Under the executive, you have the president, the vice president and the prime minister of India. And under the judiciary, you have the Supreme Court, you have the high courts and the district courts. Now, how does each of them function? We are going to see one by one. Now, coming to an important topic, the legislative and the executive. Now, how does this administration takes place? Now, for the smooth functioning, one person cannot look after whole of India. It is not, like I gave you the example in our last video. Principal alone cannot look after standard 5, after standard 10. He cannot look after the school office. He cannot look after the sports. He cannot look after the library. He cannot look after the science lab. No. So there are people who are appointed to look after this work, so that the smooth functioning takes place. Similarly, for the smooth functioning, the parliament is divided into 2 houses. One is the Rajya Sabha and the other one is the Lok Sabha. Now the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, that is the Lok Sabha, as the name says, House of People, and Rajya Sabha means the Council of Ministers or the Council of State, that is from every state ministers are being appointed. Now they will come together, they will have a meeting, and whatever decisions, whatever debates or whatever differences are there, these have been discussed in this meeting. You can see the picture difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and you must have seen on the news and all how they fight, the ministers, they fight when they have the budget session or the winter session or the summer session. Okay, they fight literally on different topics, right? So they come together, they debate on this, they have their differences, and then they come to the conclusion. Now how they come to the conclusion? Rajya Sabha all on its own cannot take any decision. The decision has to go into the hands of the Lok Sabha, and when the House of the People, that is when the Lok Sabha takes the decision approved by the President of India and the Prime Minister, then only that particular topic or that particular bill becomes a law. Okay, so this is how the parliamentary system of India works. So I'll just read out for you. Parliamentary system of government has been provided by the Constitution, wherein The legislature is the highest decision making body. Union Parliament, that is the central government, consists of the President, the House of People, that is the Lok Sabha, and the Council of State, what is called as the Rajya Sabha. Now third, the Council of Ministers, that is the Rajya Sabha, runs the administration, that is it looks after the administration of every state, and at the same time they are also responsible and answerable to the Lok Sabha. That is, suppose Maharashtra state, Uddhav Thackeray, he is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. But whatever decision he is taking, he cannot take it on his own. If he has any decision, he has to discuss it in his group, and that also he has to discuss in the Lok Sabha meeting. And when the Lok Sabha meeting, if that discussion has been passed, with the debates and discussion, if it is passed, then only it is turned into a law which is applicable on the citizen of that particular state or that particular region. So Lok Sabha is very important house of the parliament. So the decisions and the debates that take place in the parliaments have a very great significance. The next important, now this is an extra knowledgeable part which I have given for you to understand more in detail what do you mean or what do you understand by Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So I have given in detail that how many members are there in Lok Sabha, how many members are there in Rajya Sabha, then both the bodies for how many period. Lok Sabha it is there for 5 years, and the Rajya Sabha it is a permanent house member, but 1/3 of its members they retired after every 2 years and new members have been joined. So it is a permanent house, but Lok Sabha keeps on changing. The ministers or the people in the Lok Sabha, they keep on changing after every 5 years. The elections which have been taken place after every 5 years. Then main important, the money bill which is there, the budget session, it can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. Okay, Rajya Sabha cannot look after the money bills and all. It will be only in the Lok Sabha, and so Lok Sabha is more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. You can go more in detail with it. I have given this for your knowledge. Moving ahead, what is the next feature of our constitution? If you remember the judiciary part, right? Legislative we finished, executive we saw, now the judiciary. So that our constitution has given us the independent judiciary system. Now, what is this independent judiciary system? Independent judiciary means where laws are being followed, are being given to the citizen, and we citizen have to follow the laws and order. So this law and order are being governed by the courts. So there are 3 different stages of courts, 3 levels of court. At the base, at the bottom, you have the district court. That is, every district will have one court. That is our district. Now it is the Palghar district. So we have one district court in our Palghar district, and in every taluka like Vasai-Virar taluka in Vasai-Gaon we have a court, right? Then we have court at Palghar, we have at Dhan. So different areas, talukas will have a court, but then this taluka courts will go under the district court. Then above district court we have the high court. So every state will have one high court. One Maharashtra, we have one in Mumbai, and one we also have at Nagpur. And last but not the least, at the highest, at the apex, we have the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is only one which is in New Delhi. That means if the district court fails to give you any law or any amendment, it is gone to the High Court. If the High Court fails to give you any, it is gone to the Supreme Court. So this is the independent judiciary system given to us by the Constitution. Now what is it saying? The Indian Constitution has created an independent judiciary to resolve dispute. To resolve means whatever disputes are there, fights are there, threats are there, these have been solved, and the court takes the guarantee to solve the cases. You must be hearing about many cases. Just for your knowledge, the picture like Johnny LLB and all, these are the special pictures which have been shown specially on the public petition. Okay, what is that? You will be studying more in detail later, but these are cases which can be solved in the courts. Court hears both the sides, that is, both there are 2 sides. One is the person who has filed a case, and the other one is the person on whom the case has been filed. So it listens and it gives justice to both. The judges are appointed by the president, and it is not easy to remove any judge from his position. Okay, so this is important of the independent judiciary. Okay, then we have the single citizenship, that is we all Indians, whether we live in Maharashtra, wherever, we all are known as Indians. With this, we come to the end of part 1.